All right, welcome back. Part two. All right, so today we're gonna assemble rod, piston and rod, install all the rings, get at least that done. At minimal is get all that done, and then I'm gonna wash out the block, get that cleaned up, dry that all off. I'm gonna install the crank, cam, and probably install the pistons and rings so that the short block is kind of together. All right, so let's get going on that. All right, so here we go. Piston number one and a rod number one. So we're gonna mark these. All right, so flat edge goes against each other. The chamfered edge goes against the side of the crank. So I'm gonna deal with number one. That means this is going forward. So we're gonna mark this number one, right? And we'll know R&R rod to the bottom like that, okay? So that's gonna be that. This is mark number one. The valve relief to the top, right? Valves open like that. Valve relief to the top, forward, number one cylinder. So if we do this all the way, we're just gonna keep going the same way every time. All right, so this one's gonna be here. I'm gonna show you how to put the little spiral locks in. So let me see if I can show you this, because this is up close so you can see it. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay, spiral lock. So you got two on each side. These things suck to put on if you don't know how to do it. My old buddy George taught me how to do this. So watch this. Take the spiral lock, right? So instead of trying to jam them in there and, you know, trying to keep them like that and cutting your fingers up and jamming them with screwdrivers and tearing the crap out of everything, take the spiral lock, open it up, stretch it out, right? Just like that. You're like, oh, you're gonna ruin it. No, you don't ruin them. That's how they go, right? Just like that. To about at least that, okay? Make sure the edges are opened up. You're gonna start it in there. You're gonna put your thumb in it, or your pinky, or whatever, and just get it started. Once you get the first edge started, all right, see where that goes in there like that, and then you just keep it open and just push it down in place. Follow it around. And you're just gonna push it down in place, just like that. And you just keep following it around, following it around. You use your thumb, finger, what you'll hear a snap. Ready? And there you go. It's in. Getting them out, it's a whole nother story. Putting them in, very simple, like that. Okay? So now, that's one. So you got two on each side. Okay, so now I'm gonna put the second one in. Then we're gonna go over to the other side. Put the rod in, put the pin in it. We're gonna lubricate the pin, and then we put the other two spiral locks on the other side. So I'm gonna get this other one started. I got another one here. Okay. Same thing. I'm just going to show you one or two of these because this takes forever. So, and then I'll do this all off camera or whatever. So you take it again, just crack it open, stretch it out like that. Right now it looks like that. Start it before the hole so it doesn't get like caught in the hole. Now you remember you got the other one in there, so just make sure push down on the other one and make sure the other one's down. Start it right before the hole or right around the center like that. It's hard to see, but okay. And then you walk it in. Once you walk that in, just keep pushing it and following it around like that. There's the first part. And the second part. And you'll hear it snap. Ready? That's it. That's 2. Okay? The other way, I remember trying to do this, man, my fingers were all cut up, bloody, and he's like, what are you doing? No, don't do it like that. Here, watch this. My man George. He showed me how to put motors together. He showed me all kinds of stuff when we were hanging out together. Old timer. All right, so that's how that goes. So now, I'm gonna show you the next step. Same thing. Use this as an assembly lube. This stuff sticks to everything. It'll stay in place till the thing's fired up. So, brand new bottle. We'll end up using probably half of this to put the motor together, and then the other half of it I'll dump it in before we start it up. So you get a little something to open it up with. Cut the tip open. It finally stopped raining outside, so we put a little hole in it. Okay. There's oil holes in there, right? So what I do is I put a little bit of that in there, let it sit in that hole, right, like that. So it's already, so see those holes? Those 2 little holes in there, right? Pack them with oil. And you're gonna take a wrist pin, right? These are way thicker than they would normally be, okay? Put a little oil on there. Right? This stuff is nice and gooey. Put a little oil on that. You can see they just want to slide right out. Okay? Take the connecting rod. Now we got to make sure it's in the right orientation. That goes like that. Chamfer out. Number 1 R&R. That's going to go in there. Push it through. Make sure it's lubed up good. Okay. And now it's up against the other. It's up against the other spiral locks. Now you're going to put this spiral lock in. Okay. Oh. Same thing. This is where your hands start getting all full of nasty oil and greasy and whatever, but it is what it is. Okay, we'll take 2 locks out. Take one. I'm only going to show you one piston because this video will become like 3 hours long. Take the spiral lock, find the end, open it up. The other end. Yeah, a little greasy now, but you might want to just open them all up at one time. So open it up, give it a nice little stretch out. Same thing, start it in the hole. Get it in place. Twist it in there. And you just push push it down into place. You gotta stretch it. If it ain't stretched out, it ain't gonna go in there. There we go. That's better. So now it just goes right in. Like that. You don't need any kind of screwdriver or nothing. It just, it'll go in. Just take your time. Just gotta be in the right place with it. So it's got, yeah, there we go. So it's got the groove, you know, the little, it's got that little groove. Let me show you on this side. So it's got that little groove right there. That's to remove them later. So you could stick something in there and pry them out. So you got to kind of start in the right spot. Once you start in the right spot, watch how easy it goes in. Goes right in just like that. Right? Just like that. That's one. Now you put the second one up against that one, and then the pin can't move left and right, right? But the rod does. And then obviously one rod's going to be off to one side a little more than the other one. Okay? Second clip. Again, you need to stretch it out. You got to make sure the end is stretched out, like, so it's kind of pointing out like that. Start that in there. Just like that. Whoop! You make sure you don't go losing them. They go flying out. Clean it back up. Start it. The trick is to start it past that little hole, like that. There we go. It always wants to kind of go back to that hole because it's someplace where it could get out. So if you get it past that hole, then it'll go right in. There it goes. Okay, there it goes. Okay, ready? And snap. Okay? That's it. There's your piston assembled. Make sure you get them in right, because if you don't, you'll be doing it again. So what I'm doing is, rather than doing one at a time, I'm going to do one at a time, but I'm going to put 2 locks on each piston while my hands are dry, and then I'll do the pin with the rod with the pin, and then do the other side with the 2 locks. So at least my hands are dry to do the first set, and it's not a mess everywhere. Make sense? So got this one stretched out. I'm going to start putting them in. So I'm going to do 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and then go back. So I'm on the last one here. I just want to reiterate about this. The better you stretch this out, the faster it goes in, because you could get your fingers in place. So just get enough of it stretched out, and then when you start it, it'll actually have, sorry, what's this one? You'll see you can get right in there, and it goes right in, just like that. Okay? Next step, go back, start putting the rods on. All right, now we start with the messy side. So I lubricated that one, got that one in place, same thing. Okay, we'll put this right in there. That's one. And we'll put the second one in. So now it's locked in place. All of them are getting the same thing. Okay? Same deal. Get this spring, little spiral lock. Stretch it out nice. Get them right in there. That's it. Okay? Got the idea? Same thing all the way around. So it does go a lot faster once you do it that way, because you don't have to worry about messing it up, right? So just make sure everything's got some good lube on it. All right. Make sure the rod's pointing the right way. So now that was 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 in. Now we're gonna do 5, 6, 7, 8. So now we're gonna go back over the other side and look at the rod and the piston and coordinate it and make sure it's orientated right. So now this one, the valve is gonna be on the top, going like that. Chamfer is going to go to the back, so these are going to face this way. Okay. Check it against the block real quick. Make sure. That's going to go like that. That's going to go like that. And that's how that goes. One thing you don't want to do is put this together and then have to take the spiral lock out. It is not fun. Putting them in, honestly, right now, the putting them in part is pretty easy. You'll see. Just want to make sure they're right. I'm going to keep double checking and double checking. So that goes like that. Looks like we're going to have the right amount, so we don't have any left over or missing any. So that's good. Nothing like getting shorted one piece and then you can't find it because nobody will have it. That's when you better know somebody at a machine shop that can help you out. Same thing, stretch that sucker out. And then the billet block and pistons, they don't even have this setup in it, so you don't even have to do this. Those pistons are gonna come. I should have ordered these. I don't know if these would have came that way, but I could have ordered them probably. But they come with buttons, so they got like a little spacer that goes in there, and then when you put the ring, what do you call that? The ring rail, the support rail, that's what they call it. So when you put the support rail, it holds the little button, they call it a button in place. So you don't even have these spiral locks. If you're gonna be taking the engine apart, like a lot of servicing, changing rods all the time, like these big motors, they start changing rods like, you know, every 20, 30 passes, then you are definitely not doing it with spiral locks. Okay, this is probably the longest thing to do, is doing this here. So with the buttons, you just take the ring off and it basically goes right on. You just replace take the rail off, take the button off. These don't take that long now that they're in. So that's the next one. Do another one. Right, go on to the next one. But with the buttons, boom, take the rail off. The buttons just fall out. Put the new rod in it, slap it back together. All right, last one. They go right in. Because now you got the pin to hold it from sliding down the board too, so. Okay, that's it. That's it. In the right place. Number 8. All right, coffee time. When I get back, we're gonna install the rings. All right, so here we go. Got all the pistons and the rods all on, okay? First one you're gonna put on is the rail, the support rail for the oil ring, okay? So if you look at at it, it's got a little dimple. I don't know if you can see it. It's got a little dimple sticking up. So that dimple needs to face down, and it needs to be lined up with one of these pinholes. So the opening will be at 90 degrees, okay, of the pin. So let's start with that. We're going to use this as the top of the piston, so we'll do them all the same. So the little dimple is going to be facing down, yeah. Okay, and I'll show you that why in a second. Okay, so that's going to go like that. Now these are smaller than the diameter, so they don't have to get, these don't get any gap, they just sit here. Okay, push it all the way down. It's got its own opening already. And then we got to find the dimple. All right, the dimple, where did it go? The dimple is right there. So the dimple is in the middle of that. Because if you don't put the dimple facing down, that keeps it from moving around actually, right? Because it can't go past that. But if you point it up, then you got the ring getting stuck. Next thing you get is the oil, the retainer, right? This is like an expander. So the dimple is on this side, okay? Now what we're gonna do is, that means the opening of this is on this side. We're gonna put the opening of this on the opposite side. So this will end up at the bottom of the piston, right? So the opening of this ends up at the bottom of the piston. Now make sure that the rail is facing down, facing down. Then you get one oil ring. Now, so piston's facing up, pin is facing across. Got a dimple on one side, opening of this on the other side. This ring now is going to be here, and the other one opening is going to be here. So this one's going to go like this. Bring it around. That goes in there. Check it, make sure it's all good. Get the other one. The other one is going to be on that end. Right? Right there. Roll that one in. And that's that. Right there, like so. Okay? And that's what it looks like. So when it's in, they're all in. Everything is set all the way around, so nothing's gonna interfere with each other. Okay? And that's where that goes. So now you got your oil groove, oil rings on, oil rail on. Second ring has the little dot on it. Second ring goes on second groove. Same thing. So now what you want to do is, if this is the top of the piston, we're going to have one on this end opening, one on that end opening. Okay, so where the gap is. So we're going to put this one on here to the bottom, like that. Same thing, just take your time. You're gonna roll it right in place. You can use a ring expander if you want. I haven't used one in forever anyway, so I don't. Just pull on them a little bit and get them in place, okay? So now you got that one in place. Be careful not to scratch nothing. Turn it around. Top groove. Top groove has the bevel in it. You could barely make it out, but it's there, okay? This is the bottom, this is the top. The bevel goes up, up, up. Remember, up. Okay, on the other one, the bevel goes down, but the dot goes up so you can tell which one. This one, the bevel goes up. The opening is going to be on this side. Same thing. You roll it right in. Careful not to scratch nothing. Goes right on. Okay? So now you have one setup all ready to go. Before we put these in, I'll show you how we put them in the car, in the motor, engine. Okay? But for now, that's how that goes. That's going to get set aside. I'm going to do all 8 pistons just like that. Okay? Okay, last one. Little dimple facing down for the oil rail, oil ring, the expander, bottom oil ring, top oil ring, second groove pulley with the little dot going up, top groove ring, I'm sorry, top groove, second groove ring with the top, with the dot going up, top ring with the bevel up. The other end. And that's it for these. Okay? Alright, so pistons are done, ready to go. So now I'm gonna just clean up the block. Make sure that's all clean, because now we're gonna assemble the block. So stay tuned for the next one. I'll show you that part.